175 for 6. That's what England are at in their second innings. After the conclusion of the second session, it's tea now, and India sitting pretty. Despite England having that 175 odd lead on a pitch that is actually getting trickier and trickier as the match is progressing. Full marks to Washington Sundar for his 2 wicket scalp here. He got rid of 2 of England's best batters in this series, Joe Root and Jamie Smith. And overall, we can say that once again, it turned out to be a session that does belong to India.
Yeah, I mean, 77 runs were only scored. And 2 wickets were taken. It was the least of the wicket session, least of the run session also.
Before you get going, what was the prediction you had? You had 180 for 8 and I had 200 for 5. And Shashwat?
I had 180 for 6.
Okay, yeah.
So you're the closest then in that case. So yeah, Shashwat's the closest. Yeah, 180 for 8. I thought they would collapse a bit more because see, it is getting very, very tricky to bat on now. The ball is keeping it spinning low. It's also keeping low as well. And one thing that the Indians cannot afford to do is sweep, which I think it won't be the case because the ball is keeping low. And you saw Root tried to sweep, but he got bowled round his legs by Washington Sundar. So both innings now he's gotten bowled by Bumrah and by Sundar. Stokes has hung in there, and this partnership is the final if you have to look at it. If in England are to ensure, now you will have to start wondering, what is the total that India would want to restrict England to? Because 200, if they restrict them to under 200, then that's it. Game, set and match, you can say India will get there huffing and puffing, but they'll get there. But if it is 250, then I think you'll have to start some panic questions that arise. Because see, it won't be a straightforward chase. It won't be an easy chase at all. If it's 250 plus, England have a slight psychological edge, but not by many. So that is why, what is the target do you think that India will start to panic? And what is the total that you think India can chase if it is 200 plus? What is the target that they can chase?
I think India will start panicking post 300 and 250 to 300. I think India should be able to chase down. That is what I feel.
Anything less than about 300 should be fine for India.
I know, yeah, because the wicket definitely staying down. The ball is turning, but the English bowlers don't have that quality. And I was watching the first innings also. Although I was at home, I was watching. They were continuously going for the short pitch stuff. That's not going to help much on this wicket. So until and unless they change their plans or the bowlers suddenly find something to take out of this wicket, until and unless that doesn't happen, I feel anything under 300, India should be comfortable to chase down.
I think first of all, we'll have to take two things, into consideration here, that this is actually India's weak link now. You get to a stage wherein you have an opposition 175 odd for 6. You bring out Australia, South Africa, and they would be like, wow, let's just, get rid of their tail as soon as possible. But now this is India's weak link. We've said this thing, many a times in dugouts and the live discussions, that this is India's perennial problem to get rid of the tail. There have been many occasions, several occasions in the last 20, 30 years or so, or maybe even more than that, when you have failed to gotten rid of the tail, and that has impacted you big time in that match. I think what India cannot afford from here on is a partnership, clearly, and a partnership by mean that if Stokes and Woakes clearly get to a partnership of about 40, 50 or even more than that, then I think it's going to put India under pressure. What you need is those quick wickets. But secondly, if there's one thing that does still go in India's favor, assuming Stokes and Woakes get to a partnership, is the fact that Shoaib Bashir more than likely is not going to be there for the second innings, which means that Joe Root is going to be their only spinner. Maybe any of the other...
He won't even come out to bat that well.
Yeah, that's possible. Maybe, any of the other batters, Crawley, Duckett, not really sure, who really rolls their arm over, could bowl in over.
Brook does.
Yeah, roll in over.
Rishabh Pant is also another concern for the Indian batting.
No, but with the bat, he
was looking uncomfortable, because if you notice very closely that after each and every shot, he was letting go of his hand, bottom hand from the bat.
No, but he will bat.
Yeah, he will bat. There's nothing.
Actually, the point is, I think it was KL Rahul maybe who said it, or I don't know who was the person who said that, with Rishabh Pant, the only difficulty that he's finding is to, play those cut shots. But apart from that, it's pretty okay with him as far as, playing other shots are concerned. So 2 points here. Obviously, India cannot afford a partnership. That's the only thing that I can say. Get rid of those 4 wickets as soon as possible. Secondly, India, even if, there's a partnership and let's say India's final target is about 280, 290 odd, I think India could still be benefited because Shoaib Bashir is not going to be there. An extended role for Joe Root, not really sure how he would be able to, anchor those duties, and a lot of pressure on the shoulders of, I think, Jofra Archer, because they'll really have to step up to the plate.
See, for me, any total in excess of 250 is not going to be straightforward. It will involve a lot of, you have to be very, very calm and calculated in chasing the total down. Because, see, already look at it, it is spinning in the Lord's deck, and England will be ruining that they don't have a second spinner. But then...
Wait, you just said, it's spinning at Lord's. Let's just go back maybe less than a year now. New Zealand home, 3-0.
Yeah, but see, that was...
Spinning conditions.
Yeah, but see, England don't have a proper spinner to exploit that.
Did New Zealand have?
Yeah,
they literally had average spinners.
They had Ajaz Patel in center.
But no, see, they could just make do with it.
Glenn Phillips also, yeah.
They just made do, but then New Zealand did the basics right, na? They bowled in the right channels, they maintained pressure, their batters performed on spin-friendly conditions. That's why they got a historic 3-0. But here, England don't have a spinner apart from Shoaib Bashir. And Root can't be bowling 15-16 overs every single time. And on this wicket, see, what England will have to know is that with the resources that they have, they need 250 plus to stay in contention for the game. But remember, chasing 250 plus even at Lord's has been done, but not done that often in the past. I remember one by West Indies in which they chased down 344. I think Greenwich on one leg he scored a century, double century. 344 for 1. They won by 9 wickets. 284 I remember was chased down once in Lord's. But apart from that,
just about a month back, we all know what South Africa did.
280
280 odd.
Yeah, but then see, that was a different pitch. Those were not like these typical conditions that you're seeing here. And that's why, if you get 250 plus, then only you have a chance. But then if you get to under 250, then I think you're in big trouble. But remember, even in 2018, I know different conditions altogether. India couldn't chase down 194 and 195 and 245.
That's in Trent Bridge and
Edgbaston and Southampton.
And Southampton, yeah, sorry. Kohli when scored his 100, first test.
Yes, Edgbaston, they couldn't chase that total down in that
The big blunder when, KL Rahul played ahead of Cheteshwar Pujara at number 3. Yeah.
So that is why England know that in order to give themselves a chance, they need 250. But looking at it, and even after the session, now with the tail is there, do you unleash a Bumrah or do you keep on bowling Sundar and Jadeja?
Hands down, I think it has to be Bumrah now who has to start the proceedings once again. But you can have a spinner from the other end. Washington Sundar has taken 2 wickets, so no harm in giving him an extended spell. For me, the 2 bowlers who could really be there, it's Bumrah and Washington Sundar. But I think, do you really think that England can get to a lead of 250?
See, now they have the tail, and you've seen that in the first innings, the tail only got them to...
No, and Ben Stokes is still there.
But Stokes doesn't... See, if he's stonewalling and blocking, then England aren't making any kind of progress then. What I am looking at is, if you look at the first innings, 116 runs were scored by the tail. Okay. Now, 271 was 7 to 387, 116. If the tail can get even half of that, then you're set up for a competitive score. Let's make it very clear here. See, England will look to bat about an hour and a half. Because you're going to have until 11 o'clock. Okay, you have 2.5 hours of play coming up. You insert India in for 1 hour and then try and blast them out. Because see, you are not going to hang on until the very end. See, 2 wickets you have lost. But this session I see India definitely batting. So that is why I look at it. 200 and if you say half of that, 230, 240, somewhere in that range, and you get it in about 1.5 hours, then I think India will have a tricky 1 hour plus the session tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that is the first aim that England should have. But I think India, if they take the remaining 4 wickets for about 25, 30 runs,
That can happen.
that,
We've seen that.
that can happen with Sundar and Bumrah at the bowling in tandem. Then I think India are firm favourites, and tomorrow, first session, I think you can wrap it up, the test match. First or second session mostly.
Again, I think 230 England from here can get, but the only match for that, then they'll have to really survive the first couple of minutes at least after the session starts, because we've seen that with England, they have a tendency of losing quick wickets quite on a rapid, and we've seen this with England as well, that one brings two. So if they come and they've almost on each and every occasion they have come out up after a break and almost created a chance by their batting to give India another wicket. So if they get through that, that's the only possibility when they can actually go, but it looks very tough for them.
What do you think? I mean, before we take the comments, what do you think? How much is the target that India have to chase in order to win the Lord's Test? Or do you think England can mount a fight back? What do you think?
See, I still feel that it's kind of a fearful situation for India. And, like I said a few minutes back, that 175 for 6, any opposition, Australia, South Africa, take any team, and they really would be like, let's just get rid of the tail and get the whatever required runs we have. But with India, this is their weakest link. You need to get rid of the tail as soon as possible. But I don't know whether there's going to be a break from the trend or not. But I think I expect England to get to a lead of 250. I think
You expect them to get a lead of 250.
I think, another 75 odd runs, it's still possible. Although I understand that, Woakes and Stokes aren't really in the best of their batting forms. But I think if India, it's not really about trying anything out of the box. It's just about sticking to the plan and having those, crucial wickets come pretty fast. And how can that really happen? You need to bring in Jasprit Bumrah. It's as simple as that.
Rajesh Subramaniam was saying, poor captaincy by Gill. It was so clear that last 2 days there will be some assistance for spinners because cracks would have been on the pitch. Why doesn't he bring spin play early to this game? Do you really think, Rajesh, that last 2 days there will be assistance for spinners? Suddenly now those two spinner tactic,
It is turning.
it is turning, but suddenly bringing two spinners now is a masterstroke. When 3 days ago we had panned the team, I don't see two spinners been playing at Lords. You're only doing it because for the composition. But now see, you've still got them to under 175. You need to wrap them up in another 25 runs, then it's 200. Which is what freaking awesome is saying. Only once 300 plus has been chased successfully at Lords. Even for losing cause, only 5 times 300 plus totals have been scored in the 4th innings at Lords. So, see, I'm not even looking at 300 for England. That's out of the question now. With this pitch now and with the way the bowlers are bowling, I don't see them even getting
But I
close
think
to
they can
300.
half and puff their way to 250. That's still possible.
But that will only be possible if Stokes shows some attacking intent. If he continues to play like this, I'm sorry, he'll create pressure at the other end. The others will have a lapse in concentration. They'll give their wickets away. And that is why I feel that the final target for India that they'll want to chase at Lords, I'm placing it around 220.
Which should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be.
220 is my target that India might be chasing.
I think 200 could be very well.
200, yeah, maybe even that also is there. So
Aditya Gupta has a comment that England bowling is much better with Archer and Qasim. I don't know, what to really make of that comment, because if we have to take a look at the potency of both the bowling attacks, if there's any team who is actually head and shoulders above the other, I think it has to be India. I don't think that, there is a comparison whatsoever. You take a look at the first 2 matches also, and let's just, get to the number of wickets that were taken by some brilliance of England bowlers and some of the wickets that were thrown away by Indian batters. And on the contrary, you look to the number of wickets that were taken by the excellence of the Indian bowlers and number of wickets thrown by England batters.
it's an even spread.
I think so. I think India are pretty much ahead, because at least from Bumrah and Siraj, and Akashdeep, you were able to produce some difficult deliveries. Have England bowlers been able to do that consistently? Not really sure about that.
Yeah. Sarachandra saying Paul Rifle should retire. Sorry, NKR to Stokes last innings. This innings, Pope and Root.
Was gone, that Siraj LBW when he shuffled across.
See, this is the thing. Look, I am only stating that it is very easy to pan the umpires. Very easy. But then at first glance, if you look at, see where I am standing at, okay, I also thought that with the angle it's going down. That's why he didn't give it out. But then it was just clipping, and now you'll hail, oh, umpire's call, oh, why it didn't happen and all that. But then there are a section of people who criticize this thing called umpire's call. You need an umpire's call because you've done the video on this particular bit, because technology is cannot be 100% to account for the human angle. That is why you have that umpire's call. And from where Paul Rifle is standing, even I would have given it not out.
There is unvariable bounce on all the tracks across the globe. You have to give that much margin to the umpire.
See, and Sarchandra, I'm sorry, umpiring is one of the most toughest jobs that is there, because you're also under scrutiny so much because of the glare of technology. From where I stood, if I was the umpire, I would have also not given it out, because the angle and the slope with which it's going, I thought it would be missing, but it was clipping. Yeah. So that is why I'm sorry. In this case, Pope and even looking at the slope, I don't know. See, Pope, I can understand. It hit one part, but then one ball, it went over the stumps, it missed, right? But one ball it hit. So I really don't know what to make of it. So that's why, see, umpires, let's cut them some slack. Are they anyway under trouble because of all these technological errors, in particular the ball changes, not been held by a very poor ball manufacturer that's there at this point. So yes, it's going to be a very intriguing third session. We might be back for the innings break, because I see England posting only about 30-40 runs, very difficult.
I see England scoring another 75 runs.
75? Wow.
Which means about 250.
I don't see them going to 250.
Let's take a couple of more comments before we wrap things up. Priyanshu is saying that till 2050 India should win. Yeah, till 250 India should win.
Everybody wants them to win until 30-50 also, no problem.
England bowling is mediocre plus no spinner. Yeah, Bashir is not 100%.
Although I wouldn't say mediocre if you have to look at the conditions. See,
it's good, but
not that
if
good.
There has to be a comparison, and India is obviously better.
We did the same mistake with New Zealand, that the bowling is mediocre, but they whitewashed us 3-0. Yeah. Okay.
Rajesh Subramaniam has a comment that KL has to do the first innings thing again. No matter how difficult the pitch is going to behave, he is the only one who can save India. Yeah, I think once again he will hold the key to India's chances.
He and Pant. Pant and Gill.
Or maybe, if you get a quick fire start from Jaiswal, a quick 30 or 40 odd, then I think that's also going to put pressure on England. You would need that also.
But Sridhar Savaikar saying this game is giving me the vibes of the first test against England in Hyderabad. India were dominating but couldn't chase 230. Yeah, that's the thing. But then, once bitten, twice shy. I think this Indian batting might. See, that time you had a Hartley. 7 wickets he took. Yeah. Tom Hartley. But then here you don't have a spinner. Bashir, I don't know. England could very well be 175 for 7, because Bashir may not come to bat. Or looking at the situation, he might hang in and give some crucial runs. So that is the thing. I don't think Sridhar, you may be right. Your vibes might be in that direction, but I think it may be slightly less than this. And Shubham Garg, okay, no, I don't know what. Cool Paina, England deserved to lose the series for this arrogance called baseball. Not arrogance, delusion called baseball. It's a delusion, and you're bought into it in such a way that you just are not going to help your cause. Sid sir, Anshu Mishra, who will win Australia versus West Indies? Oh, Australia. They have Scott Boland this time, yeah. Build the man a statue. Yeah, but see, 4 out and out pacers, and looking at this Jamaica wicket, already it looks very, very difficult, which is why that test match is far more intriguing. But I mean, the timings are so off here. 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. Oh, you can't. So that's why. So we'll be back for the innings break or stumps, whichever comes earlier. So I assume we are going to have a innings break, because England might set India a target. Let's see how that is. If it's under 200, game on. It's advantage India. If it's 220, 250 in that range, iffy. 250 plus could become difficult. At this point. So thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this tea update. We will be back very soon for the latest updates. And until then, enjoy even Wimbledon, because Yannick Sinner versus Carlos Alcaraz is beginning. And I'll be bringing you a live chess update when that finishes also. So bye-bye. See you soon.